stop is Phipps Conservatory and Botanical Gardens, where they've been providing visitors with the world's most beautiful garden experiences since 1893. Spread out over 15 acres, there's a 14-room glasshouse and 23 unique gardens. Today we're going to learn more about Phipps' sustainable architecture and green practices, their seasonal flower shows, and the very popular orchid and bonsai collection as we take a tour of this beautiful historic landmark that is located just a few miles from downtown Pittsburgh in Schenley Park. Our visit starts right here in the Welcome Center. The first room is the Palm Court. This Victorian-inspired room highlights various species of palms. The Serpentine Room. Follow this room's brick-walled pathway through beautiful plant beds. Next is the Fern Room. The Fern Room highlights some of the Earth's oldest and most primitive types of plants. The plant that you see most in this room is from the Triassic period, the first age of the dinosaurs. We know a lot about dinosaurs. Next is the Orchid Room. The Orchid Room offers a look at many exotic and breathtaking species, including miniature orchids. Wow, orchids are so beautiful. In the Stove Room, you'll be surrounded by plants of the deep tropics with vivid colors and fragrant blooms. From spring to fall, this exhibit becomes the butterfly forest. Next is the South Conservatory. This is where the seasonal flower shows happen. But in the fall and the winter months, this grand display room turns into the very popular Garden Railroad, where you can watch miniature trains wind through the exhibit's peaks and valleys. Our next room is the Tropical Fruit and Spice Room. In this room, you will find plants such as bananas, papayas, cinnamon, and even coffee. The next area is called the Children's Discovery Garden. There's a lot of activity here. There's a giant tree stump for climbing. There are gardens that are designed to attract birds, butterflies, and bees. There's a sensory garden and much, much more. This is a fun place to discover, learn, and play. Here in the Tropical Forest Conservatory, you will find cascading waterfalls, winding pathways, and a fish pond. The production greenhouse is over 36,000 square feet of energy-efficient growing space. 16 different growing environments all in one. The Center for Sustainable Landscapes is one of the greenest buildings on Earth. The Center for Sustainable Landscapes Green Roof is a good place to learn about plants that thrive locally, and you might find some ideas for your own garden at home. The Center for Sustainable Landscapes Galleries features artwork that shows nature. The Center for Sustainable Landscapes Environs Follow the pathway to one of the world's greenest man-made landscapes. The Nature Lab at Phipps is one of the first modular classrooms. This is a learning laboratory. The Exhibit Staging Center, where they took an old 1960 block building and made it into the living campus. This will be the first multi-facility living system of its kind in the world. The Special Events Hall is a beautiful place to have private parties. The gallery room is used for children's educational programs. It's also a home for a make-believe farmer's market. This is a fun place for children to learn about healthy food. Learn about growing herbs, fruits, and vegetables on your rooftop. Here in the Japanese courtyard garden, you'll find two different types of gardens. A Japanese garden, a man-made landscape created to look natural, and a bonsai, which are miniature representations of trees and landscapes. In the sunken garden, you'll find fountains, hanging baskets, and sunken flower beds. In the desert room, we find plants that live in a desert climate. I see a lot of cacti. Ouch! Here in the Victoria room, there's a large pond in the middle and changing floral displays. The Broderie room. This room is one of the most popular for weddings. I think we can see why. Look at all those beautiful colors and designs. In the East room, you will find soothing streams and waterfalls. This is Botany Hall. The Botany Hall kitchen is used for cooking demonstration classes for all ages. At the outdoor garden, come and take a rest on a shaded bench. Don't forget the shop at Phipps to find yourself something special. And remember to head to Cafe Phipps to get yourself a treat. Speaking of treats, Kayla, what are you making today?
Hey everyone! Wow, I love the cafe at Phipps, but why don't we make a sweet flower treat at home? But first, I need you to grab your markers.
Now that you have your markers or your crayons, let's draw a flower. Flowers can come in all shapes and sizes, so you can draw your flower however you like. I decided to draw a really crazy flower, and I'm going to make it pink on the outside and purple in the middle. Once your flower is drawn, cut it out and put it to the side with a plastic spoon. Now it's time for a sweet treat. Grab pudding, Oreos, marshmallows, and if you like, peanut butter. Step 1. Get your pudding. I'm using already made pudding, but you could also make your own pudding. Open it up and put it in your bowl or cup. Step 2. You're going to need to grab those marshmallows and pour as many as you want. I went for a thin layer of marshmallows. It's up to you. Here's what mine looks like so far. After your marshmallows are in, it's about to get sticky. If you're using peanut butter, you want to take a scoop of peanut butter and put it on top of the marshmallows. This also works with sun butter, or you can choose not to use either. My peanut butter ended up getting really messy, so I just took a napkin and wiped the sides off. And now we're nice and clean. Step 4, more pudding. You're going to take another container of pudding or another scoop of pudding and put it on top of your peanut butter and your marshmallows. Step 5, my favorite part. Grab your Oreos. I used 3 Oreos because I'm only making 1 cup, and put them in a plastic bag. Once they're in the bag, make sure all of the air is out of the bag and grab your rolling pin. Roll or smash, or both, the bag of Oreos until they look like dirt. Step 6, sprinkle your dirt Oreos on top of your garden. This is what it should look like. Last but not least, take your flour and your spoon that we made earlier. You're going to glue your flour to the back handle of the spoon. Then you can put your whole spoon in your dirt, and it looks like you have a flower garden. You can make all types of flowers just by changing the spoon. You know who else has a bunch of flowers we're going to find out about? Julie. Let's see what she's up to.
Hey friends, it's Julie. Those parfaits that Kayla made look so delicious. I love that. I would love to eat them up. Not only because they're delicious, because they look like flowers, and I love flowers. Look, I have flowers right here. I'm outside in my backyard. So while I'm sitting here, I found a book. And the book is called Rachel's Day in the Garden. And it's about a girl named Rachel who goes outside in her backyard with the flowers and the sun and the rain. And as she goes through her day in the garden, she decides to do some poses, some yoga poses. And all yoga is stretching our body, stretching and breathing and making our body feel calm. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to read you the book, and then after each page, I'm going to do the pose, and guess what I want you to do? I want you to stand up with me and do the pose. Or if I'm sitting down, I want you to sit down with me and do the pose. Or if I'm laying down, I want you to lay down with me and do the pose. Okay? That's what we're going to do today. We're going to read Rachel's Day in the Garden and do some yoga poses. Okay, friends? All right. Hope you like it. Here we go.
Good morning, world, Rachel said as she basked in the rays of the yellow sun. Let's go play in the garden, Sammy. Rachel scooped up her puppy and gave him a big hug. The sky was a gorgeous blue today. Rachel and Sammy skipped around to the backyard. After a while, a light rain began to fall. The pair huddled under the green leaves of a tall tree. Rachel felt the rain gently sprinkling her face. She took a deep breath, and she smelled the earth. Sammy looked up and tilted his head to listen. Rachel looked up too. A red bird was settling in its nest. Then the misty rain stopped. Rachel remembered that she had pumpkin seeds to plant in the garden. She spaced the seeds 2 inches apart in the brown, wet soil. I love getting my hands dirty. Look, Sammy, an orange caterpillar. Sometimes caterpillars are naughty and eat leaves, but they are still beautiful, Rachel said. Sammy barked happily. Colorful, sweet-smelling flowers like tulips attract yellow bees, Rachel said. Bees help our vegetable garden grow. Sammy wagged his tail. Sammy jumped up and down, trying to catch a fluttering purple butterfly. Silly Sammy, Rachel giggled. Butterflies love pink flowers, Rachel said to Sammy. That's why we plant pink zinnias. Rachel and Sammy lay down on the grass, listening to the birds chirp. Just then, Rachel saw an amazing sight. Look, Sammy, it's a rainbow. I just love the rain.